Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Jim from Jim's Holiest Colius. I was watching the news this morning, and there was yet another story about the vaping problem. And a few days ago, I was reading an article about the vaping and the chemicals and the damage and the chemistry behind how it is that the chemicals, the flavorings, the oils actually, aside from nicotine, that's another issue, how dangerous these oils are and why there's this push now to have these flavors like bubblegum and candy, cotton candy banned. And I was thinking to myself how irresponsible it was and what a bad marketing idea it was. And I took marketing in college. I have a criminal justice career background, also a degree, but I have a degree in marketing and business. So I remember the basics of marketing and so forth, that sometimes it's not always the best thing or that's the good for marketing. It's the shock and so forth. So I understand that, but some things can really backfire. As far as offering these vaping items, and I see it all over. I smell it when I walk by. I see the gigantic. Sometimes you see a car, the people are vaping. You can see the vapor coming out. It almost looks like the car's on fire. And I imagine all that's going in the lungs of kids. So, but anyway, I was thinking of how ridiculous it was for these vaping companies to come out to actually, never mind irresponsible, cotton candy, bubblegum, cherry, all these flavors that are going to attract children. And I cannot believe for 1 minute that they're going to sit and say, oh, well, we didn't realize it. I mean, come on. I mean, look, if I'm at a carnival and I see cotton candy, sure, I'm not a big cotton candy fan, but hey, who can really go by and turn it down? I mean, it's fun. Bubblegum, same thing. So anyway, it was just an irresponsible. I think it's a bad. It's bad, and I see it's backfiring on them. See how effective all this legislation and so forth is. But I was getting back to that article. The chemicals with the oils and so forth. I tried to think of a way that I can explain it. Now, I'm 54. My wife and I do not smoke cigarettes, although both of our parents were smokers, and they're all of them are passed on. Most of them passed away due to the effects of cigarettes. And I have a son who's in high school, just started high school, and luckily he's an intelligent. I'm not saying that kids that smoke, that vape, are not intelligent. I don't mean to even use that word. My son does not vape. He has no interest in it. He doesn't smoke. I smoke an occasional cigar, and he doesn't like it when I do that, so I don't do as much. But anyway, I was trying to think of a way, because my son tells me each day he gets home from school, he gives me the update on how which kids are getting in trouble. These kids caught vaping in class. They're in the principal's office for vaping. 2 kids they got suspended because of smoking in the bathroom, vaping in the bathroom, and have you. So, and I just finished that article about the chemistry, the chemicals of the oils, and how the oils, when they're vaporized, are in a vapor. And when they get in your lungs, they go back to their natural state, which is a solid or a semi-solid, a greasy solid, whatever you want to call it. And that's what's causing these deaths or problems, and long-term problems, because honestly, there's no studies out aside from what they're coming out with now, but I'm talking about long-term. So anyway, I happen to have a candle in the house, as I often do, a fragrance candle. And it occurred to me it's the same principle. So I said to myself, it just came to me. I said, hey, Vince, that's my son. I said, let me show you. And I know you don't vape, but maybe you could explain this to your friends. And maybe next time they come on. Now, I think a couple of his friends do vape. But I showed him this simple thing to really just to put it in concrete, real, you can see it terms so you can understand it, as opposed to saying, oh, when the oils get in your lungs, that it's going to turn to a solid and everything. But you know what? The way kids are, they're not going to understand that, because they're like, oh, well, it's probably not going to happen to me though. You know what I mean? You know, we were all kids, and we all remember, or don't remember, how we don't think about harm coming to us, how we're going to live. We don't even think about living forever or dying or whatever. So kids naturally feel if they're going to live forever, nothing's going to bother them. They can bounce back. They're kids, they're young, and they're going to heal up and so forth. But anyway, let me show you this simple demonstration that really was effective, I found, by my son's reaction. And not because my son is not into vaping or is against it, but because of the actual nature of what I showed and how simple the idea is. Maybe try this. Give this a try to your kids. If their kids are vaping, and you're trying to show them, you know, try to help them understand why it's dangerous and why it's important that they stop. So let's take a look. Okay, here we are. All right. It doesn't have to be a fragrance candle, but I use the fragrance candle because it's important, because it goes along with the purpose of it. It is, as opposed to just vaping a non-flavored cartridge. Here is a candle with a fragrance, and basically it occurred to me that the wax, when heated, obviously, becomes a liquid and a vapor that you could smell in your house. And that's the oils, the fragrance oils in the candle. It's the same concept as the vaping. So I showed this to my son. I said, here's the wax, Vince. It's been liquefied and vaporized in the air. And pour that wax out on the plate. It's away from the heat. It's away from the cartridge that's going to vaporize. And what's happening? Is the wax is obviously turning to solid. And it's the same concept as they're talking about with the oils. It's a very simple concept. And this is what's happening in kids' lungs and adults' lungs when they're using these vaping cartridges with the oils, with these flavored oils, which are really not, they're not unlike the oils for a candle. It's the same concept. Maybe it doesn't have to be the same chemistry. And if you're a chemistry professor or a teacher, don't read into my video too much. It's the principle of it, not the chemistry, the technical. Yes, it's the principle. This is what's sticking to your lungs. So for you kids out there who are vaping, every time you breathe in that cotton candy oil, it's going in your lungs. It's in the little alveoli, the little air sacs, the little brooms, the little papillae, the little brooms, the alveoli that that fill up with oxygen. And basically, it's keeping your lungs from filling up with oxygen. And eventually this is going to turn to worse, cancer or what have you. So, if you're a kid and you're watching this, this is it. I'm not making this up. This is real. And if you're an adult and your kids vape and you're looking for a good way maybe to show them a simple example on what it is that these chemicals are doing inside your body, this is it. So give it a try, and I hope it's healthy. And I hope, let me go back to here. I hope the manufacturers, I think we're well on our way to have them pulling these flavored canisters, bubble gum, cotton candy, because it's attracting children. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. And I say that to myself. I'm like, absolutely, this is attracting kids. I mean, what did you think was going to happen? So whether or not this was a marketing ploy, whether or not they were actually cognizant that this is something that they, that they're expecting, I don't know. But it brought me back to that scene in The Godfather where after Don Corleone agreed to sell drugs, they're sitting around the table, and that one family member, the one family leader, got up, slapped his hand on the table and said, "I don't want it sold to children." And that's an insomnia. Well, that's what this is. Vaping canisters with bubblegum flavor and cotton candy, Hawaiian punch, whatever fruit flavor, is an insomnia because it's attracting kids. Never mind how neat the jewels, how they look like a flash drive, which are kids love those. How the high tech gadget, so forth. That's another thing. I'm not talking about that. That's just adding on, and never mind the nicotine aspect too. On top of that. So anyway, give this a try. Maybe it'll work. It'll help out. And as your kid matures, hopefully they'll understand. And maybe, hopefully, this, which is hard as a rock now, like the commercial says, this is your brain on drugs. Well, this is your lungs on vaping. This wax, which used to be liquid and vapor, is now in your lungs. Good luck. I hope this helps out. And for all of you out there, I wish you luck.